Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Um, I have a very diverse panel over here. I have somebody who is deep into tech. I have somebody who just started her business and is laying the basement for scaling the business using tech uh, very effectively. And I have somebody who, as she told me in one of the discussions that we were having, is a Zoho person in her organization. So I'm excited to bring their stories to you, to let you guys know how different developer tools within the Zoho ecosystem has enabled them to scale their operations to grow their business, right? So I'll start with Sean, who is on my left. Um, Sean has an overall IT experience of over 30 years, there or thereabout, right? He has been building and tinkering with technology for a long time. Sean, if you could give us a short intro on what do you do and what your company does.
Sure. So I'm a platform evangelist, but if you're with a company for 20 years, as I was telling my fellow panelists, it gets a little fuzzy as to what your title is. But my job is really clear. It's to work with all of the different teams and operation organization to help them utilize technology that we either already have better or to source new software or even build connections between all of those. So a lot of what we're doing is talking about building connections between them. And my company is Relay Inc. We are about a 230, 240 person company. We are actually started with our current product set in 2020. So in August of 2020, we launched Relay. Relay is a wireless cellular walkie-talkie, typically for hotels and golf courses and large enterprises, and we're also a SaaS company. So all of that is managed and run by SaaS. So we're a AWS cloud-based platform, but we also manufacture hardware that is held by people that are out on the front lines and use that every day to communicate.
Thanks, Sean. When did you start your Zoho journey?
6 years ago, we launched our Relay platform in 2019. As we were building our product, we decided that we needed to have our own way of managing sales, and that was 2019. So 6 years.
Awesome, thanks. My next panelist is Gerda Prosper. She's an attorney by profession. She has been practicing law for about 2 decades, and a little something. Gerda, if you could give a quick intro of yourself and the business that you run.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gerda Prosper. I've been in the industry, the personal injury industry for over 20 years, but not practicing, only practicing for 9 years. But I am the founder and managing attorney at Prosper Injury Law. And essentially, what I do there is I help accident victims, I help medical malpractice victims get the compensation that they deserve. My firm is based in Orlando, Florida, and we're still in our infancy. We started in about 6 months ago in November of 2024.
Thank you, Gerda. And like I mentioned in the intro, I don't think I have spoken to anyone who has been so passionately invested um, into building an intentional technology base for her business to grow. So, um, lovely to have you on the panel. And finally, I have Elia Lopez. She's the project lead at Parametric Medical, but then she's the person that I told who introduced herself as the Zoho person in her organization. So, Leah, if you could give a quick intro of yourself and Parametric, it would be great.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah Lopez. I am the project lead at Parametrics Medical. I've been with the company for about 3 years now, but serving as a lead for almost 2. At Parametrics Medical, we are involved in the human tissue donation process. We provide allograft tissue as well as regenerative medicine and biologics implants. So the company itself has been around for about 14 years, and we've been utilizing Zoho for the last 5. But we work closely with facilities and processing teams as well as distributors to continue to honor the gift of donated human tissue.
Great. So we have somebody from technology, somebody from legal, and somebody from healthcare. Diversity, like I said, is the theme of this entire discussion. So, Elia, probably I'll start from you. The next question, right? Can you tell me how your Zoho journey started? What are the products that you're using? What is your footprint with Zoho, and things like that?
Yeah, so we started using Zoho around 4 to 5 years ago, and we first started looking for a software that could really harness everything that we were having to do. If you work in an industry that relies a lot on compliance and making sure that you're fitting into certain standards, such as for us, FDA and AATB, there is no out of the box fit. You have to kind of mold yourself around what options are out there. So, whenever we started looking, we found that Zoho had a lot of applications, had a lot of options, had Creator, and we jumped in. And so, our footprint, we use a lot of applications with Zoho, but we do use Creator heavily within our processes every day.
Got it. Thanks. And Sean, yourself, how did your Zoho journey start? What are the different products that you're using from Zoho?
So I actually had been watching Zoho for a long time. We had a previous company we kind of moved into from Republic Wireless was the original company. We sold that to Dish. And at that point, we were trying to build out, we had a children's product, which was this walkie-talkie for children. And we had this fledgling idea of building the business product. We didn't have a lot of experience in that. We didn't know what we needed. And honestly, we were looking for a tool that was inexpensive, easy to start with, but was powerful enough to give us all the tools that we didn't know we needed. So
Great.
that's what got us there.
And what are the different apps within the Zoho ecosystem that you're using right now?
So we use the CRM, we use Desk, we use Trainer Central, we use Learn, we use WorkDrive, we use Sales IQ, and we glue all that together with a lot of flow and a lot of deluge development as well.
Sweet. Thanks. Gada, yourself. So, like I was telling everyone, that you're very intentionally setting the base for your organization. So, if you could tell us how you're going about that with the Zoho ecosystem, that'll be a good place to start. Dive deeper into the.
Okay, yes. So definitely in starting my firm, I was looking for a program that would be able to, track all of my cases and be able to track the journey of all these cases from leads to intake to actually managing the cases. And when I started looking, I realized that yes, the good systems out there, the case management systems out there that are geared toward legal, they're cost prohibitive. And the ones that were economic, they were lacking in capability. And so as I looked and found Zoho, I realized that this was an opportunity to not only be able to create something that, that could be custom tailored to my process and what is happening in my firm, but then I had all these other supporting business applications that the other, legal case management systems out there didn't have. And so with finding Zoho and implementing it, I mean, I'm using everything you could think of. I'm using forms, I'm using CRM, I'm using um, Learn for SOPs, I'm using what else? Click, I'm using meetings, I'm using scheduling. I'm using basically the whole the whole suite.
Sweet. So, if you can dig a bit more
Mhm.
deeper into it, right? If you could give folks here a sense of how your business process flows and where creator is coming in, right? And why creator also, right? If you can get a bit more into detail with
Sure,
that.
sure. So as I stated before, a lot of the, existing case management or legal management systems out there, they were sort of piecemealing, right? And so I wanted something that would be able to track my leads process or what we'd call the sales process. So an injured person either contacts my office or submits a form online. So I wanted to be able to track the leads and from leads to the intake process to being able to send them an intake form to complete, being able to send them a contract, which that we use through Sign, and then have them go into a module that would be able to manage the matters. And that's where Creator came on into the scene. So I've been able to develop a module in Creator that basically tracks or we're able to work our cases in there. So it keeps track of statute of limitations. It has a built-in blueprint of what needs to be done in every type of case. So what needs to be done in an automobile case is different than what needs to be done in a malpractice case, a medical malpractice case. So we're able to completely build that out. And as the lead or the case flows from lead to intake to matters, and then potentially we're building out a referrals module which tracks referrals. So I do personal injury, but I may have a client that comes in and may need a ticket attorney. And so I don't handle traffic tickets. But being able to track and say, okay, we have a network of other attorneys that handles tickets. Here, we'll refer this client off over to them. Or maybe another divorce attorney sending a automobile client to me. So being able to track that relationship and, at the end of the year to say, okay, we have received X number of referrals from, so and so's office. So, we're going to send a basket to them, or we've been able to, or see that maybe this one referral source is not sending us any cases. So then we can say, okay, let's reach out to this referral source. Maybe we're not staying on top of mind, and sort of doing something to kind of stay on top of mind so that we can sort of build that referral relationship back up again. So that's how we've been able to implement Creator.
Great. So to summarize, it's a point product that is running the core of your business,
Yes.
which has certain gaps in it,
Yes.
which is very unique to how you are driving your business, that is being filled by the creator part, right?
Definitely.
Sean, I'll come to you, but just before that, because yours is all of it gluing it together. So Eli, if you could dig deeper into the use cases that you have for Creator, what are the key business processes you are running on Creator, and what led you to building it custom rather than going with something else out there?
Yeah, so we currently use Creator for 4 applications. 2 of them have to do with tracking orders, as we have 2 different departments that work with ordering. So those track orders, and that's a daily, multiple times a day thing that's happening. And we also have something called a quote builder for if we need to build out an extensive quote, as well as something that tracks one of our AR processes, which is completely made from scratch, of course, because it's made in Creator. Well, before we utilized Creator, we utilized spreadsheets. And it was just multiple spreadsheets. None of them were connected, multiple little tabs at the bottom. And I love spreadsheets. Don't get me wrong, they're useful in certain cases. However, we wanted to be able to manage our data. We wanted to be able to operate more efficiently and be able to kind of have those different access tiers. Because in a spreadsheet, you can lock it and you can password protect it, but I can't prevent someone from deleting unless it's locked for everyone. We wanted to have those tiers. We wanted to have the different customizations, and Reader allowed us to do that while also staying in compliance with everything we have to do.
Great. So Code Builder is one of the things that you mentioned, right? How did you go about uh, building that from spreadsheet to that? How did that transition happen?
Well, Quote Builder didn't exist as a spreadsheet. Quote Builder was one that we
From scratch.
Yeah, it was from scratch. It was like, well, we want to do, well, actually, you know what? It wasn't a spreadsheet. I'm so sorry. I forgot about the spreadsheet. That's how unimpressed I was with our spreadsheet. So Quote Builder on the spreadsheet, it has like little macros, buttons and stuff, but it's on multiple tabs. It is password protected, of course. And I have been trained one time on how to utilize it, and I have no idea how to do it. If you sat me down and was like, hey, can you build a quote? I'd be like, no, I can't do that. That's not something I can do. Now, if you ask me to go into Quote Builder on the application, I could do that because it's point and click. Everything's just click, click, click. It's hooked up to our CRM. So we're able to add new facilities from Creator, or we can go into CRM and add new facilities. We can pull them over, and then anything we create in Quote Builder, any quote we create is connected to our CRM. So if you go into that facility in our CRM, you can see Quote Builder. This is how many quotes we've attached for that specific facility, and we can open that PDF right from our CRM.
Got it. And your background is?
Oh, my background, I have a degree in biology. I can make a button on Creator. I was pretty proud. I sent out like a company-wide announcement on that one. It was a nice, good email. I was like, guys, I did it.
Awesome. Sean, coming to you. You have seen all of this. You have seen this across 30 years. You use Flow in a very interesting way also. Sean doesn't use Creator as of now. Um, Deluge, of course, a lot of Deluge on top of CRM as well, I'm guessing. Um, how was your journey? Like, how did you end up, or how are you gaining utility out of, let's say, Deluge plus Flow in whatever you are doing?
So our first use case for Flow was actually in the very beginning of our sales process. So as a SaaS company, the most common sales process is that people come in, they fill out a form, and then your entire goal after they fill out the form to try and get them into a demo. When we first launched, we had no idea what kind of people would like our product. We really were building something that we thought was really cool, but we weren't quite sure yet what the market was. So it was really important for us to learn that. And by getting people into demos was the best way. Well, the problem is we needed a really easy scheduling tool. And so we actually settled on Calendly at the time. And to integrate Calendly, there was one company that made a Calendly integration. It just didn't work very well. And we weren't satisfied with it. And it didn't do the things we wanted to do so that we could track properly the meeting, the demo meeting. Did somebody attend? Did we find value from it? Did we convert it? We wanted to make sure we had all of that. So what we ended up doing is building that out completely in Zoho Flow. It was our very first Flow application, was to say, okay, we're scheduling a demo. When that demo gets scheduled from Calendly, Calendly will fire it off Zoho Flow, and then Zoho Flow will push that in. That was our very first, was the classic third-party application, integrating that in to the CRM. But I didn't have to go to a developer to do this. We did this completely in Flow. It took us about a week to build it out. The very first implementation, we were up and running. And then as we added sales reps and we continued to iterate on it, we got it the way we wanted it. And to this day, actually, this is still completely in Flow. But this one was our very first one. And it worked out so well that our operations team came to us and said, hey, we have some other meetings that we want to use Calendly for, because they're so important to our milestones that are going on with onboarding and keeping and retaining our customers, that we put the same thing together for them. And so basically, whenever they get one of these meetings set up, it automatically creates that meeting in the CRM and it sets it for the proper meeting type, and then also keeps track of whether somebody attends it or doesn't attend it, so we can get a really good idea how many of these meetings we're doing, how well they're being attended, how well that's working for us. And it's really helped us grow without slowing down. I think that's been a big part. So that was the classic. If you'd like, I can talk about other ways that we use it. So that was a third-party system to Zoho, but we also use it, Flow, a lot for prototyping. So the business team, and I don't know, I'm sure there's some developers in the room here. The business team comes up with ideas all the time, things they want to do. And it's very useful to not only write down, and they'll write down all their requirements if they're good at that. But it really helps to have them to prototype. So we can use Flow to prototype something quickly. In fact, our IT team and development team might not get involved at all in building out the flow. So our operations team might actually build out the flow. The business people may build out the flow of what they want to do. And then once they get it down, and this could even be from Zoho Flow, from CRM out to Flow and then right back into the CRM again. Because they have a thing in their head that they want. And so they put it together and then they tweak it over a few weeks, and then they can come back to us and say, well, that's exactly what we want. And they have a really good understanding at that point of how they want this application to work. And it's really worked for us because we have to run pretty fast as we're trying to grow incredibly fast. And to do that, we have to be able to have our business people do the thing they want to do as quickly as they want to do it. And then we'll follow up behind them and either clean up the application or go, you know what, this works just fine.
Great. All right. So, the glue that you mentioned, it just ties itself together. So, Ellie, I'll come back to you on a bunch of other use cases that you have, right? So, let's say you have a problem right now. You know there is a requirement for an app to be built. What is your typical process around it at this point in time with Creator in your ecosystem? How do you go about that process? Let's say your marketing team is coming and telling you that I need a new app for this particular problem statement that I have. What is your process internally? Because you have visibility into all the Zoho products. You build on top of Creator. What is your process around creating a new solution or solving that particular problem statement?
I think it really depends on what we had in place before. If there's nothing in place, then usually they're like, "What do you think we should do?" I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Thank you so much." But if we had something else in place before, depending on what it is, that's how I kinda decide where we're gonna go from there. For instance, if it's customer management, I'm like, "Well, our CRM, we have that. Let's go ahead and do it." And then if they're asking something like, "Well, we need a new inventory application. We don't like the one we currently use." I'm like, "Well, you know what we could do? We could build an inventory application to make it suit exactly what we need to make sure it goes by all of our compliance guidelines." And so there's so many options within it. And then typically anytime there's usually an application that solves whatever problem we have. But if there is isn't an application for that doesn't fit what we need, we have Creator to build it. And so there's never been the question of like, well, what are we going to do if there's not a solution? There's always a solution. There's never not a solution.
Got it. And again, going back to the theme of diversity, Sean does all the development in-house. Um, Gerda has a implementation partner who understands the problem statement that she throws at him and then delivers solution around that. And you have a hybrid model. You have an in-house development as well as you have a partner to rely on. So, what are the use cases where you build it yourself versus you throw it at the partner? How do you go about that implementation process in general?
Ones that I would be able to build myself are ones that are, of course, low code. So you can drag and drop. You can literally build the application yourself. And I've built what I feel like are complex applications. They're not, but they're pretty good. And then something that I know would involve being some sort like involving deluge code. If it's something that's out of my grasp, like it's not a button, then I usually contact our in-house or I'm sorry, our partner and I'm like, "Hey, do you guys wanna maybe help me a little bit with this? Because I don't know what I'm doing." And they're always so kind and they always say, "Yeah, of course we wanna help you." But sometimes there's this really cool thing where I can just kinda look up on the Zoho community because they have all the resources on Zoho community, and I can look it up, and half the time someone's already asked that same question, and Zoho has already copy and pasted the code, and they're like, "You're gonna change these fields, and you're gonna input it, and it's gonna work." And it does because 'cause I've done that. Or if I'm still like, I don't wanna call our partner because it seems so small, I think I can figure it out on my own, I can always email Zoho support, and I have gotten some of the best customer service I've ever experienced with Zoho support. Like, they respond quickly. I was in a 30-day conversation with them because I couldn't wrap my head around what was happening, and we just kept going back and forth, and the support team was just like, "Yeah, like, we'll keep going until you get it, girl. Like, don't worry. We'll make this happen." But, yeah.
Nice. And Gerda, how has your experience been working exclusively with a partner and building it together with him?
I'd like to say, you know how they say that, you don't want to spoil your kids, you have to tell them no. I have yet to come up with something where my partners have said, no, we can't do that. I'm like, what do you think about doing this? Is this going to be too much? And it's like, nope, we can do that. And so being able to either take Creator and build it on top of CRM or using any other of the applications and building on top of it has been a great experience. Working with a partner that not only understands, and works with Zoho, but also understands the legal practice is sort of like his niche. And so that I've been lucky in that sense with being able to work with a partner that understands the legal aspect of it.
Sweet, sweet. You already mentioned that you have internally business users trying it out as well as your team going ahead and building it. Just to come back to in terms of numbers, right? How many flows do you have right now running in your system as an organization?
Active today, 89 active flows.
89 active flows. Great. All right. So moving on. Whatever we have discussed right now is with respect to how we go about building or what you have built, right? But at the end of the day, what is it helping the organization with and your own role with, like your own, how's it helping you? So if Sean, you can start with how's flow and other deluge related stuff helping you be better at whatever you are responsible for at Relay, and how is it contributing to Relay as a whole?
I think I mentioned before that we like to run fast. In fact, we like to run fast with scissors held to our necks firmly. And my job is to make sure we don't fall down, and that we don't cut ourselves. So I look at what we're doing, and it's always a good idea to prototype. So when I talk about prototyping and what we did with Calendly, I think that was a big one, but that's not the only one. We also decided we were going to launch training for all of our customers. We're hiring a ton of customer success reps to onboard and train all of our customers as they came in. And so in order to get that working, we used Zoho Flow. We said, okay, every single time a new customer gets added or a new user gets added in our product, we're going to automatically set them up with an account in Trainer Central, which is another Zoho product. And we're going to choose which lessons or which courses they need based on the product that they have purchased from us, based on what their role is. So if they're an admin or an end user or a billing person for one of our customers, and they can get all the different courses. So we also then, every time they start the courses, we get a notification. We take that notification and we also get an understanding of when they finish lessons, each lesson they finish, each course they finish, what percentage of the entire course load did they finish, to let us know how well they went through the onboarding process. And that lets us have a really great churn. Our churn right now is less than 1%. In order to do that, we have to, and we have a complex product. So to train people and get them up to speed is key for us. We also are now able to give reporting back to the leadership of some of these companies that we work with to say, well, here's where you are from a training perspective. You have 45 people that needed training, 15 of them trained. And usually when we send that report out, the next week we have the largest training numbers that you would expect because they're telling everybody to get in there and training. So that was really helpful for us. So having the ability to launch something like that, and we launched Trainer Central, I think it took us longer to make all the videos and all the things that we put in there than it did for us to build out the entire logic in Zoho Flow. I think we built that out in probably a 3-week period of time, and we tested it while it was going. And some pieces we built out with circuits and with functions, but 99% of that to this day is still running in Zoho Flow.
Thank you. Thank you. Gada, yourself as somebody who is building your business, how does Zoho and Creator and other tools that we offer help you in what you're doing?
As a first generation Haitian American, I wanted to basically direct my practice into helping immigrants, right? Through the specificity of personal injury. And so having Zoho, it has allowed me to be able to provide customized service. The concept of being able to make a personal injury claim is not something that a lot of immigrants are used to. So being able to, the minute they sign up, send them literature, send them information in their native language that they've selected automatically, right? Be able to provide them with custom case updates in their preferred language, whether it's Haitian Creole or Spanish. That's all being able to be done within Zoho, and also, in managing the cases. So in the Creator app, the Matters Creator app that we've created, but definitely being able to, as a firm that's still in its infancy, being able to have such a professional appearance is one of the best advantages that Zoho has given me.
Thank you for that. And Elia, from you, how do you look the Zoho suite of products as well as the developer products, right, that you're using, Creator included, scale whatever you are doing at this point in time? And there is a lot of time sensitivity attached to the kind of nature of business that you do. So how is it helping you?
Zoho, my goal is to make everyday processes more efficient. So I try my best to implement that wherever I can. And Zoho allows me to do that because there's so many options. And then with Creator, I'm able to create anything, of course, that I want if the option I don't think would fit. And then with us as a company, we have to fit into a compliance box. And we are so often finding ourselves bending to what other applications already have in them. But with Zoho, we're able to make Zoho bend for us, which is huge. And so we're able to be creative while still being compliant, which is uncalled for really in our industry because you have to just stay so rigid. But the scalability of it all is that we're able to just keep adding on, and we keep going and going. And anytime something changes, because they change every couple of years, we just had a change in one of our standards last year. We're able to modify it to make sure that we're still staying in that compliance. We're able to scale to what we need to do. As our company grows, we're able to grow bigger with it. As we add new departments, which we just added 2 new departments, we're able to add new things into it, modify what we currently have, or just completely start anew in order to adapt to where we're going.
So scalability and flexibility both put together.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much, all three of you. It's been a good talk.
Awesome.